So let's get you warmed up. We're going to begin in seated, legs either crossed or outstretched in front of you. And we're just going to sweep one arm at a time up and overhead, lengthening along the side of the body. So as you reach up, think about creating space between the ribs. Try not to overreach, so keep the sit bones down on the mat. And you can make the movement a bit quicker by taking the arm a bit further away and coming a bit lower down, so from the hand onto the forearm. Feel free to move at your own pace. You don't have to match my pace as you move here. Keep the breathing nice and steady and relaxed. Good, now we're going to change position. We're going to come around into seated, feet flat to the floor. You're going to hold on to the backs of your thighs. Now as you roll back here, I want you to try and instigate the movement from your pelvis. So you'll start high on your sit bones and you'll squeeze your tailbone under, tipping your pelvis back as you roll back onto your bottom through to your sacrum, and then you'll roll all the way back up. And as you roll up here, you're going to open up the knees, allow the hips to open and stretch, bringing the back into a nice long line, keeping that chin slightly lifted. Again, try to relax here. Use the arms to support you as you roll back. Good, well done. Now let's change position now. We're going to come round onto the hands and knees. Now we're going to put two exercises together. We're going to start with a cat-cow, squeezing the chin into the chest. And then we're going to lengthen opposite arm to opposite leg. And then we'll repeat our cat-cow and go straight back over to the other side. Now remember, it's opposite arm, opposite leg. And as you take your cat stretch here, you're going to squeeze your belly in, chin into the chest, lengthen through the spine. And as you extend the opposite arm and leg away, you're going to try and bring the wrist up in line with the shoulder, ankle up, hip height. You can build this gradually as you're warming up. Now again, if you want to add some breath here, you're going to breathe in as you extend the arm and leg away. Breathe out as you squeeze your chin into your chest in your cat stretch. Now we're going to take our next warm-up exercise. Now if you are new to a plank position, don't feel you need to come all the way up here. You can just pull the knees slightly away and then roll back down. But we're going to again combine two movements. So from your plank position, you're going to sit back into cat stretch. Now if you are coming up into full plank position here, you're going to push your chest down towards your thighs, heels down towards the floor, and then lower back down. Now each time you come up into your plank here, you can make the movement a little bit bigger, pushing the chest a bit closer to the thighs, heels lower to the floor, and then into your child's pose. Again, just pressing those tailbone down towards the heels. Good, well done. Now from here, we're going to move into some lateral mobility. So we're going to slide the left leg back as we take that left arm up and overhead. And then from here, we're going to come back to face the mat and we're going to twist to the other side. Now, each time you twist here, if you struggle a little bit with balance, take your time. You don't need to move at my pace. This is just about allowing that leg to create a little bit of rotation through the spine, coming back to face the mat each time. Opening up through the chest. So try and take that arm back a little bit so you get a bit of a chest stretch as you move from side to side. Good, well done. Almost at the end of our warm-up now, and rest it down. Good, now getting ready for our first exercise. We're going to come into tabletop, hands onto the shoulders, knees under the hips, and off we go. So here we're going to take the right arm, left leg out, and then we're going to repeat on the other side. Now the idea of this exercise is that we hold the torso nice and still, no wobbling around. Now, as you move from side to side here, we can challenge ourselves a little bit further by moving the arm and leg away from the center line. Now, each time you move, try not to let the torso swing. Again, using your core muscles to keep correcting your balance as you move from side to side. Try and keep the wrist up at shoulder height, ankle up at hip height as you move. Good, well done, almost there. and rest it down. Good, well done. Now we're moving on to our next exercise. We're going to come down onto our tummy for back extension. So here I want you to bring your big toes together, let your heels fall out to the side. Forearms are going to be flat to the floor, elbows in line with the shoulders. We take a breath in, and as we breathe out, we lift the chest away from the floor. Breath in as we lower down. Now as you lift your chest away from the floor, keep your eyes looking down, sliding your shoulder blades down like you're tucking them into two imaginary back pockets. Now, if you want to progress this exercise, you can try level 2. Now from here, as you extend through the spine, lift the chest, you'll float the forearms slightly away from the floor. Again, keep the eyes looking down. Imagine you're reading a good book. Good, well done. Try and keep your feet down on the mat as long as you can with this exercise. Good, rest it down, well done. We're going to come up and change position now as we move over onto our right side. And here we're going to start on the forearm, elbow in line with the shoulder. You're going to have your knees forwards, heels back in line with your bottom, and you're going to start lifted out of the waist. Now, as we take that left arm up and overhead, we're going to pull up through the waist, lifting the hips away from the floor, pushing into the mat with the knees, slowly lowering those hips back down. So really controlling that lower down phase. Now as you lift up, try and squeeze the ribs in, pulling up, zipping up through the core. And if you want to take a more challenging variation here, you can kick that top leg out. This is your level 2. If this is a little too much, then just keep the leg down and revert back to that level 1. Good, well done. Keep it going. Good, well done, and rest it down. Now we're coming all the way down now onto the right arm. So you're going to use that right arm as a headrest, left hand down in front of your chest, small gap between your feet. Now here we're going to lift those legs up and away from the floor, squeezing into the ribs and then slowly down. So as you lift the legs, you want to pull in through the waist as if you're creating a small gap between your waist and the mat. Now try not to roll back onto your bottom here, try and stay balanced on the hips. For your level 2, you're going to take that left arm, lay it on your hip. And for level 3, you're going to take that left arm up and overhead as you lift the legs. But again, try not to roll back onto that bum cheek, try and stay balanced on the hip. Breathing out as you lift the arm overhead, breathing in to lower down. Good, well done, almost there. Good, rest it down. Now we're going to pull the knees forwards. You're going to have the knees in line with your hips, so a 90-degree angle in the hips, 90-degree angle in the knees. We're going to keep the feet together. We've got that left hand down. And from here, we're going to lift that top knee away from the bottom knee. Now make sure that that hip doesn't roll back, which it shouldn't do with the legs in this position. Now for a slightly more challenging variation, lift the feet and the ankles away from the floor. And again, your level 3 here would be to add that little leg kick. So kicking out that top leg as you open up that top knee. Now again, if any of these progressions are a little too challenging, you can always regress back to one of the earlier levels. So squeezing into the bum cheeks, so you should really start to feel this fatiguing the glutes as you open up the hip and kick that leg out. Keep it going, guys, almost there, well done. Good, well done, relax it down. Now let's change position here onto our back. We're going to bring the feet flat to the floor with the knees raised, heels nice and close to the bottom, feet fist width apart. We're going to come into shoulder bridge. Now here we take a breath in, and as we breathe out, we squeeze the tailbone under, we roll all the way up along the spine, onto the shoulders. We take a breath in at the top, and as we breathe out, we roll all the way down. Now imagine that your spine is like a string of pearls, and as you roll up, it's like you're lifting that string of pearls up and away from the floor, each pearl representing the vertebra of your spine, and then doing the same in reverse. Now for a little more challenge here, your level 2, when you're up on those shoulders, you'll bring the arms up overhead, and you'll leave them overhead as you roll down. This makes it harder to articulate the spine as you roll back down, also challenges the core a little bit more. Try and press evenly across your footbed. Good. Well done. Now we move on. We've got a core exercise coming up. We've got the knees over the hips, shins parallel to the ceiling. We're going to squeeze the ribs to pelvis. We're going to get ready. Take a breath in. And as you breathe out, you're going to hinge forwards with your right foot to tap the toes to the floor, breathing in to bring the knee back up. Now again, move at your own pace. Try and keep the ribs squeezed down towards the pelvis. Your level 2 here, you're going to bring the wrists up over your shoulders. Now as you're tapping those toes forwards, try not to bend at the knee. Level 3 here, we take the opposite arm to the leg that's tapping forwards overhead. Breathing out as you extend the arm and leg away, breathing in to lower down. Now again, don't underestimate how difficult this exercise is. So if these levels are too hard, go back to those toe taps. Hands back down. Good, well done. So let's go back over now to the left-hand side. So we're going to do everything here that we did on the right. So we start on the forearm, elbow under the shoulder, knees forwards, heels back. And again, we get ready to push through the knees to lift the hips away. Good, and again, we're squeezing through the waist here as we lift those hips up, controlling that lower down phase, pushing through the knees, extending through the shoulder as we take that right arm up. And again, our progression option here, our level 2, is to keep that top leg out and away as we lift. Again, slowly lowering those hips back down. Stay nice and long through the neck. Try not to let the ear drop down to the floor. And again, remember, if that shoulder starts to hurt, bring that leg back down. It will get stronger, I promise. Good, well done. Almost there. Keep going. Good, rest it down. So let's come all the way down onto that left arm now. So right hand down in front of the chest. We've got that small gap between the feet. Again, we're in a neat straight line. And again, as we breathe out here, we squeeze those legs up and away from the mat, working into the obliques, breathing in to lower the legs down, trying our best to stay on our hip bone here. And again, our level 2, we bring that right hand away, rest it on the thigh. Level 3, we take the right arm up and overhead as we lift the legs away from the floor. Again, trying to stay balanced on the hip. Again, feel free to regress to either of the previous 2 levels if it gets too much. Good, try and keep that gap between the feet consistent. Good, well done, almost there. Good, well done. And here we go for our last exercise. So again, the knees come forwards, 90-degree angle in the hip and the knees. We've got that right hand down in front of the chest. Feet stay together as we lift that top knee away from the bottom knee, squeezing into the glutes. Good, well done. And again, your level 2 here as we float the feet and the ankles up and away from the floor. And again, your level 3, we add that little leg kick. So again here, making sure that we're not rolling that hip back, we're squeezing into the glutes. Good, well done. Lots of control through the glutes here. Keep going, we're almost at the end of our workout. Don't give up now, last few repetitions and you can take a well-earned rest. Good, well done. So we're just gonna come round onto our hands and knees, a little bit of a cat stretch here in tabletop just to finish off. You can take whatever cool down you like, but just to say thank you very much for joining me for the session today. I do hope you enjoyed it. I look forward to seeing you again back on the mat very soon.